Hello everybody, this is Cresso again, and I am back. I'm here for another interesting topic. The title of this clip is Tales of Your Skin. Yeah, it's amazing that we, no matter where you're from, how we create stories about ourselves all based on your skin. I'm going to give a breakdown about this. So this may not apply to some people, I guess, but if you're interested to listen, please stay. Other than that, I'm going to continue on with I'm going to start off with my personal life, okay, a little bit about my background. Some of my clip, I basically talk about I'm from New York. And growing up in New York City, it's a melting pot, as a lot of us would say. And in the early 80s, I lived in a white neighborhood, okay? And I had some experience. I didn't quite understand why certain things were going on, certain people acting a certain way towards one another. But the thing is that I've seen, heard threats, whatever. You live in a white neighborhood back in those days in New York City, right? If you're black, Spanish, or any other outside of being white, you're a problem or threat, whatever. Okay. And I was like, wow, it's like it was quite a start on my journey on Earth. Just observing all this negative energy that we put on ourselves based on the skin. Then, to make it short, I moved into a black neighborhood. And I've been through just about the same thing in a white neighborhood. I'm like, I just couldn't understand, like, what's going on. I mean, I am mixed, I can pass on, depends on you. I do pass on Spanish a little bit, but I'm mixed. And, in a white neighborhood, I'm considered, again, I'm not white, whatever. But in the black neighborhood, I'm considered somewhat white, which is strange, which I felt at the time. Been through schools in both neighborhoods, for example. I experienced, I have kids try to test me and different things. I guess I didn't fit in with the bunch, I don't know, but I felt these things. Some of the things that I'm saying to you is going to be in my book. My book will be a little bit more, obviously, it'll be more in depth about my experience on this, So to move on from that, I too took on this idea about the skin. And I'm going to explain. You see, when I have an experience with somebody, for example, right? And let's just say whatever, they're in a certain skin color, okay? Whether they walk a certain way or talk a certain way, whatever, right? But I attach it to the skin color, okay? Then I meet somebody else. I'm already having situations that I've decided not let go because I have a negative experience with somebody based on whatever, right? But I formulated this idea. I allow myself to be a victim because of experiences I had with somebody, and I formulated the idea in me about because of this particular race group. So when I already created the story within myself, when I see somebody that's the same similar skin color, I have a certain feeling inside about this person. And let's just say the person give off something similar characteristics from the person I had a problem with before. And on top of that, you hear other people talk about certain people in certain groups, certain race groups. So that kind of reinforces the whole thing, the whole race issue stuff. So we create these things. We accepted it. We let it impact us through life. It's amazing that a lot of things, I'm gonna break things down about the whole idea of the skin. I'm gonna break it down from the race issue, from mostly the race issue, a lot of it, whether if you not feeling great about yourself due to some sort of skin condition, let's just say, or because you are getting at a certain age, different things we're going to talk about. How all these things that we allow these things to dictate us of who we really are. You see, people, I'm gonna, for those that's listening and that's not in the US, okay, I'm gonna use the United States for example, okay? But a lot of things that happens here is very similar to other places in the world. And I'm talking to a lot of people, and the patterns of this paradigm of how we feel about ourselves, about skin color, and how we feel about others, it's pretty much the same everywhere. So, but I'm going to talk about a lot of things here in the U.S. So, I'm just going to use it as an example. You see, here in the U.S., we go by this history, okay? Go by the history, for example, I'm going to talk about, let's just say, the natives, okay? We got the natives, Indians, okay? Different tribes, okay? But then I'm going to talk about people that's black, or I can say brown skin, whatever, okay? I'm not going to go so much with the history lessons, everybody. I'm going to try to make some points here real quick, okay? We hold on to these ideas about ourselves, this identity based on your skin color, and we hold on to it and we attach it through history, okay? We learn history through school, going to school, learning about this history, and we think that that's it, I mean, we learn about how other people had to fight for your right, okay, because of particular skin color. We have civil rights leaders. Everybody, thinking that you have to fight, or this idea of triumphant. You have to fight for what's right. I'm not going to be treated this way, and blah, blah, blah. And a lot of us, we are loyal. We hold loyalty to our skin color. For example, just using this as an example, okay? I know this whole thing with the skin idea, this race thing is very sensitive to a lot of people. So, let's just say somebody that's black, right? I really hate identifying people with certain skin colors, but anyway, that's just how I feel lately. But anyway, I'm gonna go on. Let's just say somebody's black, and some of you just listen to what I'm about to say. Somebody that's black, and somebody that's just acting a little bit different. Maybe the way they speak is different. The person acts different to the point that somebody within a certain group, or let's say in the black community, say you call that person Uncle Tom. Why is an Uncle Tom? Or I used to hear things, for example, that you ain't acting like black. You're supposed to act like you're black. What the heck is that supposed to mean? Or you're supposed to act white. Oh no, you're supposed to act Asian. What is that? people. Really. I'm going to expose a lot of the nonsense that we create. I'm going to talk about a lot of truth here. And your ego probably might not take it. But I don't care. I'm going to speak about it. So I'm like, what is that? You know, I'm like, I have to act a certain way. I have to act accordingly based on my skin color. And then you know the whole thing with stereotypes that kind of sneak its way in. Sometimes it doesn't always have to do with the skin color, but you know it kind of goes a role in it. It has a definite role in it. So, you know, and a lot of us hold loyalty because of the skin color. So if the person want to act different, what does that have to do with the person's skin color? Nothing. It's because you hold a story in your head. Because somebody is a certain color, they have to be, or by default, they gotta be a certain way. You literally limit yourself. I mean, drastically. And you do it by choice. Nobody forcing you. Nobody can't force you. But you're doing it to yourself. You see, there's two different roles here, I see, with this whole race thing, okay? You got the person that's a victim, that plays the victim role. And then you got the person that plays the role of that I am superior over you because I have a certain skin color. Okay? You got those two roles. Which one you play, hey, that's your choice. But both of those roles, for example, has a very limiting view. Doesn't define who you really are. We pick up history in school to go back with history. We read about what, for example, the civil rights leaders did. I'm gonna say this. I have a lot of respect for Martin Luther King. I do. He, during his time, he has a vision. He envisioned people from all walks of life standing side by side. He say, I have a dream. This is what he envisioned. That's it. That is what the whole message is about. Everything else, we would like to focus on the assassination so much. We like to focus on the drama a lot more. The riots and all that, the fight. A lot of us got this thing about, this whatever, it's like, but you missed the picture. You missed the bigger picture of this. You missed the bigger picture of what he said. But yet we focus on with the victim mentality that we basically pass on this story. But how you feel inside spiritually, you're not happy. You have layers and layers of garbage that you put on top of yourself. You think because you're a certain race group, you have to work extra hard. You do all that to yourself. I don't care what the other person say. I don't care what your father, your mother tells you, or your friends tell you, or your wife, your husband, doesn't matter. You put that story in yourself. I don't care what the media say. You do all that to yourself. You created a victim role. So because you created that, everything in life is basically going to be a reflection of how you feel inside. It's gonna reflect exactly how you feel. You're gonna live and act just accordingly, just the way you want it. That's just the way you want it. Gotta live this idea that somebody, the man, let's just say, you got the man, we call it. We all know some let's say a white guy. I ain't gonna let him get me down. I gotta do what I gotta do. I gotta do this, I gotta do that. I gotta make sure I get mine before they take it away. And you gotta do all these stories that we create. All of that. Constantly fighting. And you got this thing, fight the power. You know what? I got another idea about that. I don't fight the power. I am power to create the life that I prefer. I inspire you to apply that to yourself. Okay? Someone that's plays the role as somebody superior. Man, that must be really exhausting too. You think because you have a certain skin color, and let's say you add your eyes, your hair, and let's just say you add the greenbacks, the money, okay? Say anything as an example, people. You think because you have some edge in society, that must be really exhausting again, because you have to constantly, because you observe this paradigm by your choice, you have to constantly watch your back. Because if you're competing against somebody, you're trying to oust the next person, you always got to constantly watch your back. Make sure no one doesn't oust you back. That is the life that you created. Are you at peace with yourself? Are you, I mean, let me say it like this. Are you experiencing your highest joy? I mean, if that's your highest joy, okay. Same thing with somebody that's playing a victim. If you like to fight the so-called good fight, if you want to do this fight the power thing, okay. Wow, I mean, I know it's not the 60s. Things change in different ways. Yeah, a lot of us, because a lot of us choose not to let go of old stories that don't serve us really. We hold on to this stuff. We put layers and layers of it. So much layers that the ideas, these old ideas based on skin, it becomes mutated. It becomes something like, what the heck is that? But I know today, because, you know, we choose another direction of classism. Sometimes it goes with how much money you have and a little bit of mix of your skin color. It's a little different from the 60s. It's not, it kind of goes, again, it parallels between the money and your skin color. Classism. It's like, what the heck is that too? These are the things that we create for ourselves. You know, we really love drama. You think because you observe these things that you have no control. Yeah, I'm going to say this to you, to everybody, you have control. I don't care where you live. I don't care what neighbor you live. I don't care the story you could bring up. I had it hard, I had it rough. My parents had it rough, and I have it rough too. And then you attach your skin color with your name, with your last name. You even got comedians through the years. One of the most go-to jokes is white man, black man. But not realizing they have some deep feelings about it, but they make a joke about it. But then you see a lot of comedians, even though stuff is funny, I will admit I laugh a lot of these jokes, but then I look at things, the truth of all this. I look at how everything that we speak out of our mouth, what we think, everything is synchronicity. And what I mean by synchronicity, everything is connected. So when you sit there and joke about these things, right, like a lot, what you're doing is that you're keeping the paradigm alive. You're keeping it alive. Just telling the truth. Because you want to know why certain things are still there. Because you keep it alive. That's the reason. The more you believe wholeheartedly in your inside of you that you believe in, let's say, for example, the white man's like a white devil. I don't hear that much, but let's just say you do. Or a certain attitude that you go about it. You keep it alive. It doesn't matter what the next person is doing. It doesn't matter. See, the thing is about how you feel about yourself. You touch your skin color. You think that's just it. And then you have to be loyal by your skin color. It's like you're holding yourself hostage. I gotta act black. If I don't act black, for example, I'm saying this for example, if I don't act black, my friend's not gonna like me. My mother, my father gonna think I'm strange. My wife's gonna think I'm tripping. All those things. I'm like, what the heck does that mean? It doesn't mean absolutely nothing. It's an egotistic idea that we created. Because why we create these things? It's because we decide to be afraid. The same thing for the person that picks the role of being superior based on a certain skin color. You all know these things. Let's just go further. I mean, shucks. I mean, you heard things about an entertainment world that we created. Hear stories about how someone with darker skin complexions never get a fair treatment. If someone's light skinned, and let's say she's black or he's black, whatever, they always get the best roles. Someone that's dark skinned, what do they get? Nothing. It's a story that you live on. So it's gonna continue that way. I'm just exposing it, letting everybody know that, a lot of us, we okay it in a sense of that we just kind of like do what we do. I didn't make the rules. I just live it. I mean, we'll complain about it though. But you're not going in an energy that you can do something about it. You can make a lot of changes. Not complaining and not being a victim. Or not thinking that you have an edge over somebody. By knowing who you really are. I'm gonna get to this. I got a couple of more topics in this clip to talk before I get to what the skin really means. Then let's just move on for the next topic. So you have somebody that's basically having a lot of, actually, you know what? I'm going to touch on a few more. There's a few more little areas I need to touch on. Relationships, for example. Okay, you have relationships. Okay, you have, for example, your parents, for example, will suggest to you that to be with your own kind. Okay, some parents, depends on who you are, where you're from, you hold on a lot of these traditions. Okay, and you want to keep the same race continuing. If you're black, white, Chinese, doesn't matter. You want to keep it alive. You want to keep I don't want my kid to be mixed. I want it to be this color. We got to keep the tradition going. You value that so much, yet you limit yourself. My mother suggested to me to be with my own kind. I didn't listen to her. She said what she had to say, but that doesn't mean I have to do it. I believe that I didn't care what the person's skin color was. Yeah, I admit I had certain preference, but still and all, through and through, it didn't matter. I dated people from different groups. I'll be honest with you people, I had stories. I had stories on someone's skin color. I had the same thing. I've done the same thing. I come up with these stories about someone that's white, someone that's Chinese, black. I've done it. Oh man, I've done it. And admit it, you've done it too. You may not say it out loud with your friends, for example, but deep down inside, you've done it. And I say to myself, what does that do for me? Nothing. Does it give me a peace of mind? No. It didn't. I just keep living the same old life. Living unhappy. Just feeling a certain way about people. Basically feeling, it's basically all about how I feel about myself. I'm not happy. So those are the things, people, that you have to really pay attention. The ideas that we hold, that we petted, accepted it, those things are holding you back. So we value skin color in a sense, in a certain way, and customs or whatever, traditions. All for the sake of life. Another thing, loyalty too. That it kind of all goes together. You have certain religion, faith go about certain things about certain skin color. Okay. Growing up, I used to hear things about this religious character, Jesus Christ. Some people say he's white. No, he's black. No, he's white. No, he's black. Look. And then you got certain parts of the U.S., you got a white church, you got a black church. I mean, it just goes on and on, people. You know what I'm talking about. It's all about who's superior and who, on what skin color. So you use a religious character, right? And you formulate with your own ego. On top of that, you build a layer that if he's white, that means the white race is the most superior race. Oh, no, black is more superior. He's black. Look at him. I mean, it just goes on. You got people label themselves as certain things, skinheads, rednecks, the N-word, whatever. All these things. And we do these things, again, based on, we don't know who we really are. Top of that, fear. You allow fear to control you. So we got religion, relationships. The next thing, your job. At the job, you have certain experiences, as well as your own experience within yourself of other places, and you bring it at your job on top of seeing other experiences, kind of mush them all together. Certain people don't like certain people. I've been to a lot of jobs. I observed certain jobs. You got certain cultures stick with one side, and you got certain people with certain skin color stick on one side, and the other stick on the other side. It's like school. Certain schools you go to. You got the white kids, you got the black kids. You got or Chinese kids, they all sit together. And you got the Spanish kids sit together. Kind of makes me think of the West Side Story. A little bit, but anyway, just the whole separation, the gang stuff, whatever. It's just ridiculous. But the thing is that we divide ourselves because of stories that we tell based on your skin color. All that. And for what? What does it really serve you? You feel divided. I forgot this one. Politics. Skin color. Skin color plays a role on politics. A lot of us, we fell for the game of the skin color because somebody is black and it's a president. This old paradigm of someone being a president. Uh-oh, he's black. That means it's gonna be some real change. I'm gonna be honest with you, everybody. I kind of almost fell for that stuff. I voted for Obama, but I'm glad my vote didn't count because this was before I supported this whole political system. But it didn't count because I wasn't in the same district, and I was so glad. I didn't want to vote for anybody. I got tired of the political game. I was at the exit point. I just smell BS with this whole thing because of someone's skin color. We all got tired of seeing someone that's white, gray hair, right? Kind of makes you think of, you know, that's all it is. We got to change things up. Yet we still don't. We just don't see the bigger picture. Still going by the skin color. Do you think that's all it is? It's the skin color. These are the stories that we tell. That's the theme of my clip. I think I covered the whole thing on that part of the segment. And the next one is somebody has certain skin conditions. Okay? Whether somebody has acne all over their face, they feel like the world's gonna end. They feel that nobody's not going to notice them or think that they're pretty or handsome. All because of that. I had acne probably. Yeah, I had certain feelings about it. Felt embarrassed. But you know, it's like, you know, you have products that heavily suggest that if you don't take certain products, you're not going to look as vibrant or beautiful. And we take on to that because, you see, these corporations, they capitalize on that because all based on how you feel about yourself because of your skin. Now, I'm going to say this, and especially for the ladies, okay? There's nothing wrong taking care of yourself. Okay, I'm not saying to have acne all over your face or whatever blemishes, whatever goes on in your skin. I'm not saying not to take care of yourself, okay? If you're going about it in an attitude, really listen carefully. If you're going about it in a certain way, with a certain attitude, like the product is the savior, and if I try this product on, I'm going to be a better person. I'm going to be more beautiful. I'm going to be more handsome. People are going to just drop people's jaws going to drop when they see me. If you're going to make the product to be your own God, that's something that you really need to check yourself. You're giving in to the subliminal tactics that a lot of the corporations that we put out there, all based on how we feel. They're just suggesting, try us. You want to be beautiful? Try our product. Come on. Then you have to, the whole info commercials. Get it while it lasts. But wait, get one and buy one free. Get it while supplies last. And then the whole big drama, the whole big rush. Yeah, I gotta get it. I gotta get it. I'm like, that's the story that we tell of ourselves, all based on our skin. You know the saying about beauty is skin deep. But I'm gonna add something a little bit to that very shortly, okay? So we got that. We got someone that basically have certain skin condition. Then you got certain people with certain, I don't know how they call it, but I'm going to do my best to describe. Someone with pigment, the skin pigments. Let's say somebody that's black, right? And part of their skin is, you know, spots, like white spots, okay? So you all know what I'm talking about. I don't have the name on top of my head, but anyway. I mean, you have certain people are very sensitive because they're being teased or whatever. Or we look down on somebody because, you know, because they look different. All because of the skin. This story that somebody, because they're black and have white spot, they ridicule about, well, whatever. It's like, yeah, I don't use black. You ain't all black. You just mix. I mean, you some crazy mix, whatever. All kinds of stupid, dumb, ego tripping thing going on. All that because of the skin. And for those that have that situation, you feel like a victim. So it kind of goes side by side. And then the last one is somebody has a lot of wrinkles in their skin. Yeah, that's save the best for last. The wrinkles of the skin. That's a tough one for a lot of people. I'm going to admit, it makes me feel a certain way even saying this right now. But I have to remind myself as I'm speaking the truth of who I really am. So I'm going to say this to everybody. You know, some of you at a certain time of your life, you have wrinkles in your skin. Okay? You're panicking. You feel like you're dying. You have this thing in your head. I'm getting old. Oh my gosh. What I'm going to do? And there's that info commercial again. Uh-oh, here they come. Get a reflection how you feel about yourself. Get it while supplies last. Look young and beautiful again. You gotta go and get it while supplies last. Wait, there's more. Buy this one and then you get this one hot topic, this one hot product. Put extra cream in your face and do all kinds of things and boom. Wow, you become like a model. Wow, man, I tell you, you know, people, if you step outside your ego, you really do a job. You really do a number on yourself. You have, I mean, because of your own ego, you just choose not to see it. You're really doing it to yourself. Big time. I want to say this. There's nothing wrong taking care of yourself. But there is a difference. Okay? These products that you're trying, that you want to take care of your skin, okay? These products, whatever you decide to do, okay? Or no matter how many times you go see a dermatologist, it doesn't define who you really are. You're just taking care of yourself, okay? But it doesn't define who you really are. You are much more than your skin. Much more. I don't care how many wrinkles in your skin. I don't care how dark skinned you are or how pale your skin is. I don't care how many acne you have in your face. It doesn't matter because it doesn't define who you really are. You know, beauty, I was looking up earlier about beauty Skin Deep. It talks about, it doesn't, for my take on it, it doesn't really talk about, it's saying that your outside doesn't represent what you are on the inside. You know, something like that, okay? But I'm gonna add something to this, okay? Your skin, you have different, you know, some of you are wondering, Why are there so many different skin complexions? You know, secretly you probably think that in your head. I even have the same question too. And it's a good question. You see, your skin color, whether if you're like the darkest person, looking person in the world, or you're the most palest person, you see, or your skin is like yellowish or tan, whatever, your skin color represents an energy of consciousness. It's an energy of consciousness. Okay? Look around you. Look around this world. Look beyond. Just imagine. Just think. Your skin color is basically, it's all connected to everything about life. Everything about life. But the skin color doesn't even scratch the surface of who you really are. I tell everybody on my other clips, and I'll say in this clip, you are consciousness. That's what you are. You are consciousness. You are one and all in everything in life. The physical and the unseen. That's what you are. You are much more than your skin. So before you look down on somebody and you look down on yourself, think about what I'm saying to you. Your skin color is a layer of beauty, of consciousness. And like I say again, there's more to it. It's just an energy of consciousness. That's what colors are. Color, and I don't care if this is, whether this is proper or not, black, white, those are all colors. I don't care. The thing is that your skin complexion represents energy of consciousness. But what you are, your soul, spirit, whatever, that, I mean, you are consciousness. Do you understand? Consciousness. You want to call it God. You want to call it source. You are the source of all things, of all the living, and all the unseen. And no, there is no dead. Nobody dies. It's ridiculous. If you understand and reconnect to the truth of life, you will understand that nobody dies. So I'm not going to say the living and the dead. I'll just say the unseen. So, you know, the thing is that life is beautiful. Life is infinite. And that's what you are. You are infinite. You are infinite designed. You reconnect and you apply what I'm sharing to you. All the stuff that we've been brought up on through our parents, through history books, through these ridiculous religion, faith that we follow, or through some of these customs, these ridiculous customs, you have to marry your own kind, that other nonsense. You reconnect with consciousness, that you are consciousness, and understand the truth about life, you would drop that in a second. All those things that I just listed, you would drop that in a second. There's nobody better. There's no one better than you. We are all consciousness. It doesn't matter if you're human or non-human, but I am talking about humanity here. I'm just want to just keep it to this, but I'm just trying to say is that it doesn't matter. All I'm saying is that consciousness is one and all. Okay? And that's basically it on the skin, you know? I mean, we, again, we could change things up right now. I envision people evolve already, doing things, living life in peace, experience bliss because who you are. None of these things that I talked about in this clip, all these limiting ego ideas that we created, none of these things have any significant power over you. Nothing. None of those things. So I just expressed to you about what the skin is and who you really are. Because who you really are is what I am. So, and I wanted to say this, people, that each and every one of us is a walk-in stage. And what I mean is that in the stage, you're the actors. You're the director, you're the producer, you're the camera person, and you're the audience. You're literally creating your own life. Let's just say every moment to moment. So how you design or have your show to be of your life is entirely up to you. You are power, people. That's plain and simple. So that's really it. So that's all I have to say about the skin topic. That's really it. I just want to add that part. I forgot. But it's been fun talking. I express things in my heart. I don't have a lot of things written down before I speak. I just have it down in my heart, express myself. That's mostly my style. So I really believe that you listen to this, that you're inspired. So I will be back for another interesting topic, as always. Until then, take care.